the lobbyist David Cohen, who works for Comcast, that Biden is, did an event with, is also a big time anti-union guy. He's a union buster, and I mean, the guy is just, he's not in favor of workers. He's not in favor of doing anything for regular people out there. And that takes us to this next fucking gem from Gropey Joe over here. In his, I believe it was his first, the hell is this? 1 second. In his first, what was it, rally or campaign speech or whatever, Biden goes out there and he talks about how he's a union man. He literally said that. He said, "I'm a union man." Look at this, what it says here. It says, all across, this is a quote from Biden, from one of his first campaign speeches on, I think it was last week, I believe it was. And he said, all across America, unions are hurting. With too many people left out or left behind, our political system is broken. We're tearing America apart rather than lifting it up. I mean, typical cliches and platitudes from Biden over here. And then people apparently were chanting, "We want Joe." He says the middle class is hurting. It's hurting now. The stock market is roaring, but you don't feel it. There was a $2 trillion tax cut last year. Did you feel it? Did you get anything from it? Now that's all fine and dandy. He's saying the right things there, especially mainly in that part I just read right now. But when it comes to the policies that Biden has advocated for and the policies he will certainly advocate for in the future, he's not going to be giving tax cuts to the middle class as Democrats claim to. Now, to some extent, they do give it sometimes, but it's always kind of like there's always a caveat to it. So, for example, when Obama was president, obviously Joe Biden was his vice president. I guarantee you, Joe Biden was giving advice to Obama when Obama was, going back and forth with the Republicans and kind of, doing his different negotiations where Republicans were making all these demands. Obama definitely went out there and, he tried to give Republicans he tried to give them the whole fucking barn and they still wouldn't take it. So, for example, there was at one point there was this thing that happened, some of you may remember, which was called the Grand Bargain, and it involved major cuts to Social Security and Medicare and all those Medicare, Medicare and Medi-Cal, all these different entitlement programs. And when the Republicans and Obama were kind of working together supposedly to do this, the whole idea of the Grand Bargain was to really screw over regular people. So screwing over regular people who have, who rely on these different entitlement programs, but they knew. Obama and Biden for sure knew what they were doing. So they were going out there and they were trying to sell out as much as possible just to get the votes from Republicans. What happened? No Republicans, if any, maybe a couple, but definitely no Republicans ended up supporting any of the things that Obama was passing. And he, like I said, he was trying to give them everything, any kind of cuts to Social Security and Medicare and all these entitlement programs as he could give, as he tried to give, they still wouldn't budge. And Obama just kept giving more and more and more. And eventually Obama was pissed. He was like, "Oh my God, what is it? What am I going to have to do to get these Republicans to vote for me?" Of course, as Bernie Sanders has shown, obviously not as president, but just as, being a politician and being in the Senate, you have to show strength. If you show strength and you show the ability to be an actual negotiator and not just giving away everything and not just handing it all to the people that you are supposedly negotiating with, you actually demand things like that. Well, in that case, certainly Republicans know how to demand. Republicans can ban anything, and Democrats, they'll do it. Republicans ask the Democrats to jump, and the Democrats ask them how high. That's how it's been. That's how it was under Obama, and a lot of times that's how it still is right now. Just look at the way Trump Look at the way Trump demands, a border wall from the Democrats, and the Democrats are like, okay, we'll give you a border wall, but you got to do this other thing, and then Trump tells them to fuck off, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll give you more for the border wall. That didn't end up happening. I don't know where the negotiations for the border wall are at this moment, but I mean that's an issue for another day. But the point is that Democrats they're always capitulating to the Republicans. They're always trying to give something away. They're always trying to do something to and then to do something to get a deal done, but it's always to screw over regular people. While the Democrats claim that what they're doing is for the people, but it's really not, and they're able to fool all the fucking idiots for sure. So. I mean, in this case, when it comes to Biden claiming he's a union man, then why the hell are you doing a fundraiser with a fucking anti-union, union busting goon? You're not a union guy. Biden might have been a union guy back in his fucking, in the 1850s when he was a fucking young dude, but he's not like that now. Ever since he's become, a politician, ever since he's become certainly an establishment politician, he's just been a sellout. And he's been a sellout, and he's been a capitulator to Republicans. Like I said, he was Obama's VP. There's no doubt in my mind that he was negotiating a lot of those, or he is certainly if not negotiating, he was definitely telling Obama, be sell out, be as much, be a sellout as much as possible. Give them what you need, because you have to worry about your poll numbers, and you have to worry about how Fox News covers you. You have to worry about what the right wingers are going to say about you. You don't want to get smeared. You got to worry about your legacy. It's all that fucking typical establishment bullshit that these fucking idiots, these moronic politicians, they worry about, and they never know how to look at the big picture, or they know that they shouldn't look at the bigger picture, at least in regard to helping people, not their own big picture. Their own big picture is just worrying about their legacy. But in the reality, what the big picture is worrying about the people. And down the line, the bigger picture shows that people end up getting screwed. So if you go out there and you push, you push entitlement reform, which is just cutting entitlements, and you push all this, oh yeah, we're giving you tax cuts, but then it's like really like tax giveaways, more tax giveaways to the super rich, and claiming, we're going to deregulate, we're going to regulate Wall Street, but then it's like a really like watered down piece of legislation, while in that legislation they're still allowing big banks to not be too big to fail, and all that stuff, the typical stuff that was happening under Obama. All this just kind of throwing a bone to the progressives every now and then, and pretending like they're doing things for us when they're not. And in reality, the Obama administration and people that were in his administration, they couldn't stand progressives. Famously, who was it? Rahm Emanuel, when he was the chief of staff to President Obama, he said progressives are fucking retarded. He literally used that language to refer to progressives. He said, we're fucking retarded because we want progressive policies. So all the somewhat progressive policies that Obama was offering when he was running in 2008 and then, became president in 2009, all those demands we made went right out the window. They didn't even give a shit no more. It was gone. Especially once Rahm Emanuel got in there, once Obama started being coached by all these different, idiotic Democratic strategists, Obama immediately flipped and didn't want to do shit for regular people, didn't want to do shit for progressives. He just wanted to cater to the neoliberal establishment and right-wing Republicans because he didn't want them to attack him. That's all it really was. And Joe Biden is going to use that same exact strategy on top, but the only difference is that he's a white guy. He's not a black guy like Obama. He's a white guy. He's a privileged white guy. He's rich as fuck. He doesn't give a shit about regular people, and he just wants to do what's going to make his friends happy. Again, he's doing fundraisers with GOP donors. When you're doing fundraisers with GOP donors, there is no way you are beholden to progressives. There is no way you are beholden to. Let's just put aside progressives. You're not beholden to doing the right thing. On the law, in the bigger picture, you have to consider the fact that this isn't just about progressive doing what progressives want. It's doing what is good for the country. And but when it comes to progressives, in my opinion, and in the opinion of, I think many people that you ask out there, progressives are for the people. They are. We are for the people. Our policies, our ideas are advocating for what the people want, regular people. And we are pushing for what's right. We're not pushing for things that are, ridiculous and over the top. That's exactly what Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is pushing for people to have health care. He's pushing for people to go to college without getting, drowned in millions and millions, or however thousands of, at least per person, hundreds and thousands of dollars of debt. Being able to make a decent wage, at least having at least a $15 minimum wage, which is, again, not asking for much. Bernie managed to do that for Amazon. He managed to do that, I believe, for Disney workers as well, Amazon and Disney workers. And, but when have you ever seen Biden say, advocate for these things? But he's going out there and saying, "Oh, well, you're, the tax cut for the rich that Trump gave and stuff. Yeah, that's really, really horrible." But then what's Biden going to do if he becomes president? He's going to still give tax cuts to the rich, but he's going to throw in a little bone to the middle class, and you say, "Oh, here's your tax cut for the middle class." So, I mean, look at this idiot. Who's this guy? Somebody, and it's later. It's this, Harold Schaitberger, the general president IAFF, which is, I think it's Biden got, he got endorsed by some unions. I think that might have been one of the unions. Then this guy says, referring to Biden, he says he knows that labor and union built the middle class. They built this country. Yeah, we know that already. Biden, as much as he claims to know that, is not going to be in favor of unions. He is not going to be doing anything for unions other than, again, throwing a little bone to them and then the rest of his policies are just going to be advocating for whatever the super rich want. That's all it really is. And there's another quote here from, I guess, the same guy. He says, Biden connects with those workers who don't believe the last Democratic nominee listened to them or cared about them. Who don't believe the last Democratic nominee, who don't or do, who believe the last, so that quote doesn't make any sense. Who don't believe, so he's obviously referring to Hillary Clinton. And he's saying, so is he saying that Hillary did listen to, she did listen to workers? Obviously she didn't. So he's saying that she did. That doesn't make any sense. But obviously Hillary was not in favor of unions either. She was, for fuck's sake, she was on the board of Walmart. She was on the board of Walmart. She, had donors that, she received donations from, I believe it was the part of the Walmart family, the Walton family or whatever that owns Walmart. So yeah, but I don't exactly know what that quote's saying there. But anyway, Joe Biden is not going to do anything for regular people. We need to realize that we know this, but we need to convince other people to realize this, because it's damn true that he is not going to do anything for regular people. He is not going to do anything for progressives. And anybody that thinks that, you either don't know politics or you're just a blind Democrat loyalist who just wants to believe that anything Democrats do is right and they can never do anything wrong, and we should just, believe them because Trump is really bad. Okay, well, if you're going to go with that mentality, you're not going to get anywhere. That's not going to do anything for you. Getting rid of Trump is not going to be the only thing that we're going to be able to. Getting rid of Trump is not going to be the only thing that's going to fix our problems. We need to go further than that. We need to actually defeat him with somebody that's going to push an agenda that is the complete opposite of Trump and not agreeing with any of his shitty policies.